What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Get Off My Lawn. I am Al the Geek, and welcome to the World Foam Alliance YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, the whole goal of the World Foam Alliance is to actually unite so many of the foam
Ooh,
flingers that actually exist and happen all over the place. Everywhere from your backyard to other countries, other states, provinces, cities, you name it, man, they are all over the place. And what are we trying to do? Create that one centralized location where you can go and find other foam flingers. It's amazing how many of us exist in spaces that you wouldn't even know that we're that close to one another. And once you find out, then you realize just how big it is, and that's our whole goal is to expand it. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, we are a
suddenly
nonprofit,
washed
which
out.
means we make no money. So we try to do something, and as you know, monetization from YouTube is great, but to do that, you need people to watch. You need people to subscribe. So subscribe, share, like, subscribe. You know the drill, man. Just do it. Subscribe and share. Also, in terms of the website, as we announced before, we kind of came to a grinding halt last year, and we've had to pivot and figure it out. And the beautiful thing is, we are resilient, so we have figured it out. So the website is under construction, and right now I can safely, yeah, I can officially say it because then if I'm wrong, we can yell at me. Anyways, the point is that the goal is that we will have the soft launch of the World Foam Alliance website come Maryland Mayhem. So at Maryland Mayhem, we'll have it open up again for signups and everything else. Hopefully, the Shopify store will be up and running if it isn't already. But you can correct me later on that. Give me a break. I'm old. I forget stuff. Point is, by Maryland Mayhem, World Foam Alliance website.com will be up and running, and we are so excited about this. In other news, we're all good. I think it's the usual. It is the same. Tonight's guest is a gentleman by the name of Evan. If you don't know who Evan is, he is the designer of the Greg. If you don't know what the Greg is, it is an enormous monstrosity that shoots mega XL darts. Um, and then, as you know, Eric the Moose, he took the Greg and then redesigned it and made the Mammoth. If you're watching the stream and you know what I'm talking about, you probably already see the Mammoth somewhere behind me, beside the Moose. But then again, I've always made a better door than window, but you can see the monstrous thing that is behind me. So he will be joining us a little later when he can, letting us know what inspired him to create such big and ridiculous things, and again, all the other fun things that he does, and we'll get to know him. So that is our guest tonight. In other news, the only thing that I got going on, again, for me, it's convention season, so it's getting ready for stuff. And if you're going to be in the DC area, if you are in the DC area, I will be at AwesomeCon. You can check it out at awesomecon.com. It is one of the ones, actually, it's the convention I've gone to the most, and the first one I went to where I was a vendor. It's in DC. It is the weekend of April 4th, 5th, and 6th. I will have a booth. Come find me, come see me, say hello. I always give out stickers, cards, and things like that. Plus, you get to see all the crazy things that I make. And in other news, I think I can announce this as well. If not, someone will yell at me shortly. Dart Zone will be at AwesomeCon. That is right. Dart Zone will be at AwesomeCon. So the large inflatable where you get to set up and shoot stuff for free or buy stuff if you want to. But yeah, the large Dart Zone inflatable will be at AwesomeCon this year. Come out and check it out. I will not be there. We're at separate locations. They got their big booth, and then I got my booth. But we're close enough to each other, but we'll both be there. So yeah, come check it out. Have fun. You will find Andrew, aka Dart
Dart
Sweep,
sweep.
will be in there, and whoever else we drag along. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure you all know um, my buddy and the one I always drag along to everything. Wolfguard cosplay will be there as well. And he's like, "Wait, whose booth am I in?" And I threw him over the Dart Zone booth because they need more help than I do. But yeah, so that's coming up April 4th, 5th, and 6th. AwesomeCon. And again, for when it comes to events, as a reminder, as we always keep hammering home, Maryland Mayhem, Maryland Mayhem, Maryland Mayhem. Clearly, I'm biased because it's in my backyard and it's one of the groups that I'm part of, but I like to believe that it is one of the premier events in our hobby. It is happening Mother's Day weekend. Yes, we know Mother's Day weekend. It could have been a better weekend. But of the two, it was this one or Easter. So this time, we're hoping our mothers will forgive us. But anyways, that is happening. Maryland Mayhem. Be sure to check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, with that said, as you know, it's not just me yelling at you because this would be boring. It'd be a lecture and it'd be horrible. Why? Because I should have friends with me to yell at you. So without further ado, the other half of this monstrosity that is this fun thing called Get Off My Lawn, we have one Captain Xavier. Cap, man, what's shaking, brother?
Hello. Not a whole lot. I got my rank or my mammoth. My mammoth came in. I seem terribly washed out all of a sudden. Anyway, yes, you may notice my video is clearer because I have high-speed internet finally.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
And I've got the shop wired up. I will be getting other things wired up. I will be live streaming build events. I will be live streaming the wars that I have here. It's gonna be good. I've been waiting for good internet for 5 years. I told us it was gonna be 7. So the fact that it came in earlier than I expected is awesome. Yes, my thing is ridiculous. It takes two arms to prime. I cannot single arm prime this because I think it's a K14 nestled in something heavier than a K14. I'm not sure what the spring is in this thing, but
I think it's the front shock from an F-150.
Yeah, something like that. It's ridiculous. The fact that it makes the moose look kind of small.
Oh, let me get out of the way because it's behind me.
Yeah,
There they are.
it's absurd. It's amazing. I'm hoping the rain stops soon so I can take the flipping thing to the range.
This is just glorious, fantastic absurdity. It's like, wow, man. You know what I like about these two? It makes us look small and skinny.
It does give us a slightly svelter appearance than we have any business being. Just.
Dude, this is awesome because you can already tell the quality of your video and you're not like glitching. This is amazing, and I'm looking forward to it because it's what you can do with it. Like, well, 2 things. One, considering what your internet was before and the amount of content you would be able to pump out and the quality of it, and now that you got high speed,
yeah,
dude.
The fact that it takes me 2 minutes to upload a video instead of 4 hours is amazing. And I can still use my internet while it's uploading. It didn't used to be the thing. I'd have to start the upload before I went to bed because if I uploaded while I was trying to use the internet was just unusable. And now that's not a thing anymore. It makes me so happy. And I'm going to be streaming all kinds of stuff. Really looking forward to the weather getting nice so I can start hosting events here and streaming the events. You'll get to see arena play live. It'll be awesome. At least I hope it will be. We'll see how it actually turns out when the time comes.
I think it's great that you're able to share the arena because, again, for those of us that were lucky enough to play in it, it really is a fantastic space. And so being able, again, not everyone's going to make it out to your place to try it. So being able to share that video, it's kind of, see, look at the cool things it is. And again, it's not to say, haha, you can't come here. But it's like, it's just a reality. We can't always make it everywhere. But you're able to share what it looks like. Never mind the commentary and feedback. Never mind the guaranteed inspiration it will cause other people and the things they'll do. Plus, never mind the feedback you'll get back, where suddenly you may get a random idea. Well, you'll probably get hundreds, but at least 1 or 2 of them will be something like, I never thought of that.
What else have I been up to? Oh, I finished this. Al the Geek painted up this for me, and I made it take a proton pack. It is missing a few things. It doesn't have a battery door. Anyone have a spare Titan battery door lying around? Of course, if I got one, it wouldn't match. I'd have to mail it to Al to have him paint it. I suppose I could ask him what paint he uses, but
paint it black, it'll be fine. Or if someone can figure out, someone print something out with his logo on it, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's a really awkward shape. I was considering just fabricating one out of metal, but it's an odd shape.
But I
could probably still do it.
What if you hollowed it out and found like almost the first thing comes in mind is like a first aid container, but those black boxes with the lid where you just stick it in there, and there where it's a compartment for having stuff in.
Well, I do plan to do that with the magazine well, because on yours, because I didn't know what I was doing yet, it's completely gutted. It won't a magazine won't catch. Now a magazine won't fit normally because where the magazine feed lip should go, there's a hose. But I'm planning to take an old, find the worst condition 35 round drum that I can find. cut the feed lips off of, hollow it out, gut it. It's an empty drum. Cut the feed lips off so that it'll actually fit and catch, and then add a cap onto the top of it and use it for Skittle storage.
See?
And yeah, I could do something similar to the side, a battery backup, or, see, I could fit more interesting things, and I could fit like string cheese and meat sticks in that compartment.
Ooh, what if you took a regular 6-round mag and converted it into a Pez dispenser that you put in there?
Oh, there you go. But I like the idea of having, a 35-round drum worth of Skittles.
I think so. I think that'd be awesome. The other thing, dude, I got to show you mine, but I do think you got to get your logo 3D printed in 2 colors. And if anyone sitting there watching a thing wants to do it, take Cap's logo, print it in black and orange, and mail it to them. Make it about 2.5 inches tall. His is a circle, so about 2.5 inch diameter. Even 2 inch would be good. That way he can glue it to the side of it. And let me show you why.
So I can replace the Al the Geek one that you glued to the side of it?
I did, but as a small one.
I didn't even notice until earlier today. I completely missed it.
That's why
the other side's got a skull, which is cool.
No, but see, that's why I need one. I need someone to send me another one so I can stick one of yours on mine as well. Yeah. But so you see where that is? I have the file to 3D
print my logo as a badge. I have it to print my logo as a purity seal.
See, but can you do multiple colors?
Paint exists.
Well, we have enough friends that have multicolor printers that they can print you up a couple, and like mine did.
Yeah.
Fine then. Don't send it to him. Send it to me. Then I can stick one on mine. That'd be great.
50-round drum churro dispenser. You know. If I left the guts inside it and I cut some string cheese or cheese to the right size of a Nerf dart, I could just have it be a cheese dispenser. Probably wouldn't last well over the course of a day. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Cheese dispenser would be good, but yeah, man, it came in.
I need to harangue a certain person about a certain file so that I can start upgrading some containers that I have acquired to make large capacity proton packs out of.
Ooh.
Though I did discover something. I had made an erroneous assumption at some point. I had been under the impression that a gallon holds about 500 rival rounds, and that is not correct.
What is the number?
A gallon holds approximately 350 rival rounds.
Oh. Okay.
So it's less capacity than I thought, but it's still a lot.
So that means the 2 gallons should be 700.
Yes. Plus about 50 for the actual agitator on the proton pack. So that's why a standard out of darts proton pack has a 1 gallon tub but holds 400 because it's got another 50 that fit in the agitator itself because it's extra space. So they come to about 400. The one you've got will get you to about 750, give or take.
My goal is to have that set up and ready for Mayhem, because then I probably will run it at Mayhem with something else, or at least have it with me, because it's just big, stupid, and ridiculous. So why not?
It's just fun. I don't know if it's the changes I made to the barrel mechanism that I have on mine, but mine seems to fire a little bit smoother than yours did.
Why do you think?
I don't know. On yours, I don't remember what material I used to bridge the gap between the flywheel cage and the internal barrel, because normally there's a section that's just large enough to fit a dart. It won't fit a rival round. So I had to make some changes, and on mine, I 3D printed a TPU tube section that's a larger diameter than yours, and I'm not sure if that's maybe making it feed a little bit smoother.
Probably. That makes sense.
But I didn't have any of the double feed. I had no jams, no double feed issues when I put about half a tank through it so far. But weather. I'm waiting for nice weather to come along so that I can take it to the range and put a tank or two through it. I'm wanting to make a larger tank, but I need a a file.
Well, apparently in the chat there, what is that? Andy's asking for the measurements. Yep. Andy Works says send in the measurement, which reminds me, this is actually a good segue. So, and this also fits with you. So yeah, Andy Works says send me the measurements and he'll get it done for you. For those that don't know or did know, originally there was a show that Cap hosted and had it. It was called Show Me the Modded Thing, and it was opportunity for people to submit like videos, files, pictures of the crazy things that are made in the hobby, and he'd feature in his videos. Obviously, Cap has many ideas and he can't do it all, so he's actually passed on the mantle to Andy Work. So Andy Work has done a beautiful job in terms of putting the videos together, really showcasing and trying to describe what people do. Lately, there's been it's almost like we've all forgotten. But don't forget, feel free, send in your pictures, your mods. There's never a stupid mod. Never think yours isn't good enough. That's the whole point of this. It can be rough hewn, especially, but if it's a great idea or however it is, send your stuff over to Andy Works. Send it to the modded thing. He'll post in the chat where to email it. But definitely, man, check out Andy Works' YouTube channel. Submit the crazy things you make and the ridiculous things because he'd love to feature it. And again, in case you don't have a YouTube channel or somewhere else, but you really love to share what you can do it, man. Send it to him.
Yeah. I am planning to do more Nerf Rewired. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do next.
That seems to be very successful.
It's been a lot of fun. There's one I've been meaning to do a lot of them for a while. I went through most of the major circuits years ago on my channel. I've got really good guides on how a strife circuit works, how a hyperfire circuit works, how a rapid strike circuit works, and those are really the three that exist. Pretty much every other blaster is just one of those in a different shell. So every semi-automatic magazine-fed blaster with a mechanical pusher, they all use a strife wiring. It's very simple. It's one switch. It's 3 wires. It's lovely. Hyperfire is a little more complicated. It's got 2 switches. It's got motor braking involved. You need to understand a little bit more about circuits and switches to not accidentally create a short circuit and fry your battery. The rapid strike is the most complicated. It's got that 3rd switch. It's got 2 different variable lines. It's, again, if you solder the wrong thing to the wrong post, you can accidentally set your negative straight to your positive and create a short circuit and fry your thing. But it's been interesting actually opening the blasters and doing them, just because it shows you how I route the wires, because cable management is one of the hardest parts. Making your wires nice and clean. My rapid strike one, it's the cleanest I have ever done a rapid strike wiring. It turned out lovely.
You're on a streak then, man.
I do want to eventually go through and do most of the strife variants. So, I want to do a rapid red, a desolator, the Fortnite AR, the Fortnite SMG, all of those strife variants just for fun. And I'll probably end up selling them either to you to then paint and sell, or directly to other people. I've done a bunch of proton pack blasters. I need to do a few more. I want to do at least one more Titan to sell, and I'm gonna try a Vulcan. I want to try to make a poor man's deplorable, though I don't plan to actually integrate in the grip and stock. It'll just be a Vulcan with a hose coming out of it. But that should be fun.
Before you move off from the Vulcan, are you going to do then the same thing that Maritime Phone did to his Vulcan?
What did he do to his Vulcan?
Remember, what did he do? Instead of messing with the actual firing thing, he actually came up with a cage and actually added flywheels to.
Yeah, that's what a deplorable is. It's adding flywheels to a Vulcan. That's what the term deplorable means.
I thought so, but I thought the deplorable you made was a rival one.
No, that's the deplorable Mark II.
Oh.
Lance, known as Sergeant Deplorable, because he developed the deplorable. The original one, that's the one where he put a flywheel cage in it. That was just a stock strife cage. And then he integrated on a Maverick handle and a deploy stock, which is why it got called the deplorable, because it has a deploy stock. And then he built another one and painted it blue, and we made it take proton pack, which is what I plan to do. I plan to try to figure out how to make one that will take a proton pack. So I need to figure out how I'm going to mount the cage. I need to then find a cage, and I need to add the pusher wheel mounting and the hose mounting and whatever else I need to mount onto it, and then figure out how I want to route the hose through. I will probably just have it come out where the battery normally is, because you won't need the battery because it'll come from the proton pack, and it will be a convenient way. It'll just come up through the battery housing, up through where the pusher mat, because I plan to take the guts out. Lance left the original reciprocating internals in the Deplorable Mark II. They don't do anything except reciprocate and make noise, which is just fun.
Yes.
So it's firing proton rounds at 15 rounds a second, but it's going ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. The ka-chunk is just for noise. Whereas on the original Deplorable, the original firing mechanism is what fired the darts out of the belt into the flywheel cage. So I don't need that, and it'll make the blaster lighter and easier, because it'll just be, there'll be nothing inside it. Just empty space. It'll be great. I will need to figure out how I want to do the rev, if I want to do it in a 2-stage trigger, or if I want to add a rev trigger. I'll need to figure that out. Probably do 2-stage.
I think in addition, though, too, make one... see if you want to take the Vulcan and do the same thing Anthony did to his, because he sorted out a lot. It really runs beautiful.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I plan to use, because he already sent me the file that he used to create his, but I would need to modify the flywheel cage for rival spacing, because a rival
I know that
has different
but I'm
spacing.
talking make one in addition to
I actually have an old Vulcan that I added a long strike stock to and long shot bipod to, so it looks more like an LMG, and I want to bring that back out of mothballs and put a flywheel cage in it and rewire it for 3S. So yeah, I do plan to do both. I might build them to sell as well, just because it sounds like a fun build to do.
Yes.
What's going on in the chat?
I was gonna say,
what do y'all want to see me mod? Like, what would you like to watch me live stream mod?
Yeah, that's a good question. Did you see that Ludus game that has complimented you on your look?
So has Snorri Bjorn, who's the crew's law speaker.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got good internet. It's lovely. So happy.
It is. Yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, what do you want to see mod? Oh, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. One is, I just found out, and if anyone knows about it, there just missed a super chat? No. Anyways, there we go. Turn the Fortnite Zesty SMG into a flywheeler.
No. I have to design a whole cage, like a flywheel of the world cage for that, and I'm not that good of a 3D modeler yet.
Who knows? Buff Daddy might have one already.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, he's probably who I'll end up pinging about a Vulcan cage.
Seriously? Oh, that is funny. The new X-Shot releases. I didn't know about it. I just heard about them now. Does anyone know about like some of the new X-Shot blasters? And apparently by the name, it sounds like it's going to be a Mega, or are they teasing us with a name and it's not going to be Mega?
Yeah, they're just using the word Mega, but just like epic. Yeah. General Strife mentioned earlier that he has also only seen names. He hasn't found any pictures yet. And if he hasn't found them, they probably don't exist.
Yeah. Someone has not leaked it yet. But that I look forward to. The other thing is, so watching the Foam News Collective, always great. You guys don't know what that is. The Foam News Collective, they're a fantastic show. Happens every 2 weeks, man. And they really do their homework and really try to stay on top of new and crazy trends. The Master Key 3D printed shotgun. And I can't remember who makes it, Is it Wizard Builds? Was he in here?
There is a Wizards build in here.
Yeah, was that something that you built? And I'm trying to confuse something, but it was an undermount thing, and it's like, yes, please, yes,
Is that the one that
please,
takes
yes,
the
please.
silly shells?
I think so. I remember seeing it, and I had to put a pin in it and get back to it, and I've not gotten back to it yet. But it was like, oh, come on, man.
They sent me the files. I need to print them, but I haven't had time to sit down and. Yeah. I have the files. I need to print them. I need to get a hardware kit. I need to do lots of things.
There it is. Wizard Builds, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Some things. Yeah.
What's up, Xbox? Yeah, dude.
Joe!
Yeah.
You mook, come visit me. Why do you never come visit me? You live 50 miles away. You never call.
He has good internet now. Go see him. You can now see him.
What do we got?
Yeah. When you print that one, let me know how that thing goes. I gotta see about getting one and see what I can stick it under, because that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
It's almost like part of why I haven't made as many master keys as I have lately, even though I can stick a bunch of stuff under things. It's almost finding the one thing that is worthy of the undermount that is more useful, as opposed to just shock and awe. This looks cool. Now,
that's always been my opinion on master keys. Is it should be something that your main blaster doesn't already do. It should fire either multiple darts at a time, or mega, or something.
Mega
XL, yeah. Rockets, just. Or if your main blaster, I could see an argument for if your main blaster is like fully automatic, having a more accurate single shot, or other way around. If you've got a long range, a sniper blaster of sorts, having something that's a mag fed, just cut. Kind of like I've got a full auto rival blaster strapped to the side of my semi-automatic FTL3. It's not truly a master key though; it's a sidecar, so it doesn't count. It's totally different.
Correct. That is my goal for Mayhem. If I'm running the backpack fed Titan, then it's having like it might be what's the blaster that Joe makes? That's a great little blaster. Joe, put it in the comments. Is it the Avalanche? Having potentially something like that, which is easy to carry and grab and just let the Titan hang loose. Probably not stick it to it, but that is my goal potentially, even though I haven't figured it out for Maryland Mayhem. But again, back to like the master key thing, I will still make big, stupid looking ones because it's fun and stupid, but it's still ultimately, when you have a great primary, having something that is, and I know you got the things that you get from out of darts and everything else. I get it, but again, let's remember the things I like to do. So strapping something like that, which Wizard Builds made on the underside, I feel like that really fits the kind of stupidness that I like to do.
Absolutely.
Again, no right or wrong. It's just we all have our thing, and that's the best thing about what we do. You can do anything, and it don't matter.
It is the beauty of the hobby, the variety and the ability to do ridiculous things. And yeah, the fact, what I like is that there really is something for everyone. There's all kinds of LARPs that use Nerf. We now have much more of the competitive scene. If you really want to get, really athletic and build a team and really run hard and play hard, you can do that. And then there's casual Nerf wars where, go out there with a pool noodle and just have fun. And everything in between. It's a very diverse hobby, and I love it.
Still,
Moto Strike with a single shot elite master key. I love that. Yes, a mega blaster with a night finder underslung or something.
See, that'd be fun. That'd be a good one.
Or like a boom dozer with an underslung strife.
I've done it the other way around, but yeah, I can switch to that. I can definitely. Well, I did the strife with the Moto Strike on it.
Yep.
So it's a master key.
I heard you like master keys.
I know. I think that was my one thing on the Moto Strike. So the strife is modified, the Moto Strike is modified, and then just the under barrel pump thing if I could cut that out and put something else in its place that's even better, that'd be like now we're cooking.
Somebody suggested making the FAA-44 rifle from Alien Romulus. I finally saw Alien Romulus, and people had asked me my thoughts on that blaster, and it's kind of like, it feels like whoever did the screenplay misread some of the lore, because the auto tracking is not a feature of the pulse rifle. The auto tracking is a feature of the smart gun. That's why it's called the smart gun. So they combined a pulse rifle and a smart gun and gave you a auto tracking pulse rifle, which is cool. I love the concept of, it auto targets. Pretty nifty. I liked Aliens Romulus. It was just a straightforward Aliens movie. They introduced some new concepts, brought back some old concepts. I enjoyed it.
Did I see that one? I am not sure.
He's looking it up.
I am looking it up. Talk amongst yourself.
Built an Omnia with a solenoid and a band cage in it. Very nice.
Which one's the Romulus one?
It's the newest Aliens movie.
Yes, you haven't seen that one yet.
Bunch of kids on a space station. Goes badly for them. Well, kids,
Yeah.
Anyone under 30 is a kid to me now.
Yep.
I felt they did Ian Holm justice.
All right, I have to check that out.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. But yeah, they brought back like I said, they brought back a lot of concepts. They brought in stuff from Prometheus. They brought in stuff from Aliens. Because Romulus takes place between Alien and Aliens.
Oh,
I believe, timeline-wise.
Are we looking forward to Alien Earth?
No, that concept terrifies me. I'm looking forward to it, but I mean that's terrifying idea. I've read the comics. I'm wondering, and some of the books on the Earth War, and I'm interested to see how they do that.
Well, they were smart enough to put it in the year 21 something or 22 something, so it's like 100+ years in advance. It's like, thank you for doing that and not making it like 2040 or 2030.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not quite as far along. They were really optimistic in the 80s about where we would be in 40 years.
Sometimes in 10 years, they're like, oh yeah, in 10 years, we're going to have this. No.
Turns out.
Although I can safely say, no one predicted how prevalent and how dominant drone culture, or like just drones.
Well, no. Terminator kind of covered that.
Well, a little bit.
Those are
but at
drones.
The same time, yeah,
Matrix.
I guess so.
Matrix is drones. Anything with a robot revolution, it's drones. We're that close.
All right, fine.
The thing that they didn't predict is, they thought, robots are going to get thumbs and then they're going to pick up guns and take over the world. And instead, they've taken over art.
Andy Griff, you're finally catching up, buddy.
Yeah, kids.
I tell you.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. I like where it went. It helped smooth, for me. It helped smooth some of the edges from like Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
In some ways, I liked they tied some stuff together. It made it fit into the rest of the world more by adding some additional lore, some additional concepts. Like, okay, all right. And they also brought in stuff from I think that's stuff like from the comic books.
Yeah.
More stuff from the comic books, from the old Dark Horse stuff. So I like that. I also was a big fan of Prey, the most recent Predator movie they made. And I wish they would do more of that concept of just throwing predators into different settings in history. I would love to see Predator versus feudal Japan, Predator versus medieval knights. And now we have the precedent to do that. I'd love to see one in the future, cyberpunk. Because there's a great option in the comic. If they took one of the comic books, and just made it into a movie, it starts in feudal Japan, where a samurai kills a predator and eats his heart, and it turns out that makes you immortal. And then it flash forward into like 400 years into the future in cyberpunk Tokyo, and there's predators still trying to hunt down this 400-year-old samurai who's gotten really good at killing him by this point.
See, that's pretty wicked.
Sonata's right there. We have the actor who can do it. It would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be good. By the way, man, everyone in there, like and share and like, man. Again, welcome, World Foam Alliance YouTube channel. Get off my lawn. This is me and Captain Xavier doing the thing we do. We clearly sidetracked on the movies, but I swear we do talk about foam flinging stuff. You know what? See.
Well, so I have around here somewhere a shoulder-mounted Nerf blaster that has the 3 laser pointers on it from Predator, because I'm that nerd.
Well, yeah.
And I've got a smart gun that fires Nerf, and that's from Aliens. And I've got 3 pulse rifles over here that I need to finish modding. We want to get them modded up for at least 2S LiPo. I think they currently just run on AA's, but they've got honey badger, the last of the world's honey badgers in them.
Oh,
so I kind of want to pull. I want to pull the honey badgers out, so I have honey badgers. Put Michelle 2s in and run them off 2S LiPo.
That'll be good. I have 2 pulse rifles. I've not done anything with either of them yet. One out of box, one in box, but I have 2 of them.
I think I have. I've got the 3 over here. One is mine. One is Sergeant Deplorables, and one is Crewman Rockets. And then I think I have a second one in box that I burgled from Dr. Flux when he moved to Out of Darts. I helped move all his stuff. He had a lot of stuff, and
not like you have no
as
stuff.
payment, some of his stuff came home with me.
Does he know that?
I got an inbox Tomcat and an inbox pulse rifle out of it.
There you go.
Plus food.
I still think I have a 4 or 5 inbox Tomcats. Yeah, 4. Which I'm holding on to.
Alien versus Predator versus Zombie. There is a comic that's Alien versus Predator versus Terminator. That is an actual Dark Horse comic, and it is good. It's a cool concept.
Yes.
RoboCop versus Terminator was good.
I remember that.
In that one, they used RoboCop as the blueprint to create Skynet, because he started human, but he had become thinking more and more like a machine, and so they were able to use him to bridge the gap to create a thinking machine. And so
right.
he was the father of Skynet in a way, and then he manages to bring Skynet down. Superman versus Aliens, Batman versus Predator, Batman versus Aliens.
They've done them all, man.
They've done
almost.
It all. Green Lantern versus Alien. That one was just infuriating. Flipping goody two shoes Green Lanterns. Like, no, it's just a creature. It's not evil. Let's put it on this other planet it can live on.
Come on.
That has life.
Oh, yeah. What could possibly go wrong? What about then having like an alien's planet, which is clearly overrun by aliens?
Oh, yeah.
And then you just drop in the Hulk.
That would be interesting. Hulk versus aliens.
The Hulk and an entire planet.
I just watch.
Yep.
The real danger is, what if like they actually do manage to facehugger him, and you end up with Hulk aliens?
Because nothing works on him. That's the whole thing. Hulk aliens, oh dear God. That's in the end. Finally, they figured out a way, and all of a sudden at the end of it, he's destroyed the planet, but then a Hulk alien emerges.
Yeah.
Quick, someone call Marvel. We have an idea. We have contracts.
I like how the third Aliens movie, which I will argue till my death they got the name wrong, and it bugs me. It will always bug me.
Which one? What?
Because there's Alien, which makes sense because there was the one alien on the ship. And then they had the second one was Aliens, just plural, because there was a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
And then they made the third movie where there's only one again, but they called it Alien 3. But there was no Alien 2.
Yeah.
So it should have been Alien 2. And then what they called Alien Resurrection, where there was a bunch of them again, should have been Aliens 2. And I will die on this hill. Yes, but it would have been correct. I will die on this hill. Anyway, the third one, the alien didn't hatch out of a human, and so the alien wasn't humanoid. It was canine.
And Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah, the ones that were born out of a predator looked different, and this opened the doors for the merchandise companies to make aliens that were born of absolutely whatever you wanted. They had a rhinoceros alien. Batman fought a crocodile alien.
Hold on, you said rhino alien? No,
I did. Transformers versus Terminator.
There we go.
If that's actually been done.
Maybe they're still in the works. All right. Rhino alien. Oh, crap. I keep losing it. There it is. Rhino alien. There was a yellow one and a blue one. And I have the blue one, too. So
there is, in fact, an Transformers versus Terminator comic.
See, of course.
Oh, it's only 5 years old.
See,
came out in 2020.
There was probably some discussions. It looks awesome. So we're going to have Evan will be joining us shortly. Has made it back from his thing. We'll find out what he's talking about. Again, he's joining us. It's funny. We're a Nerf channel, yet we've just gone full on aliens.
Yeah.
For the record, I've been collecting Spawn, like McFarlane figurines, basically from the Spawn thing forever. So I think the first one I got was in like 1999. Yeah, I'm old. But one of the first ones they released was the one where they had the Queen alien. And in the diorama, there's like a human that is like stuck to the wall. And I remember getting it, and I have it out on display out of box, but I don't know what it's worth, but things like over 27 years old, and I just love the thing. It's huge.
Somebody asked a question I don't have an answer to. They want to know if we have heard of the Springer Perilous by Shoeless Historian. And I have no idea what that even means.
I don't think I have. What is that? I think there was a Transformers and G.I. Joe meetup.
It's in the movies.
Yeah.
The movies have G.I. Joe and It's like subtle. They don't refer to them as G.I. Joe, but one of the characters, his name, he was a G.I. Joe, and the Springer Perilous.
I got some of the earlier Spawn. I have the first
interesting.
The Wings of Redemption Spawn, where he's got wings and these feathers and stuff like that. I have the first one that came out. I also have the first Raven Spawn and the first Gunslinger Spawn. Why, Jim? Because we're old enough. That's why I have them.
That is a neat looking blaster. Side
Perilous?
feed. Yeah, it's a side feed mag fed pump action Springer. Big. No trigger guard. Don't like it. Gotta have a trigger guard.
Oh.
No good. No good. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Can do it.
Let's see. What are we going to go? Transformers G.I. Joe. Yeah, I said that's already been done.
Yep. So then now with the new Alien movies, as long as, but I'm guessing, I see the hope is that it isn't Hasbro that corners a market on these things, but maybe it's X-Shot up and coming or someone else that throws money at Aliens and say, let us make the blaster for it and actually do something that's worth 100, $200 instead of Hasbro's attempt. Well, sorry, the butchery of the Mandalorian rifle, the of the M41 of the Pulse rifle. It's like, you know what, Hasbro, do us a favor. If you're gonna do it.
Do it well.
If you're not, go away. Let someone else do it, man. Like, come on.
I mean, I can understand the conundrum. Okay, first it needs to look like the thing in the movie, and then we have to make it function, and that can be difficult. But like the Mandalorian one was so poorly done. You're like, surely even you guys could have done better than this. The Boba Fett one isn't bad per se. It looks good. The functionality, again, the fact that it takes shells is interesting, and as a revolver, that was kind of a neat concept. But like all of the Overwatch blasters and the Destiny blasters, you know, they had to make them look good, and then they could make them function, and that is a bit of a hang up. But yeah, the good news is
at the same time, then, like,
we can make our own.
Well, here's the thing: X-Shot, long shot, $30, and look at the performance you get out of that. So, like, come on, don't tell me some major engine. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
The X-Shot pistol, what is that thing called? That's rear fed. That's $15, and you get 150 FPS out of it. Come on, man. And your Hasbro, Sunshine, you need to hire new engineers.
They also, you know, need to accept that pro is a thing, and you know.
Yeah. Now that I ranted about that.
The Goblin. See, now that sounds familiar.
That does sound familiar.
Goblin by same guy. Goblin Shoeless Historian. Oh, okay. So yeah, I have a goblin, I think. I've got an ogre.
Oh, that thing. Yeah, okay.
He's got a lot of cool designs.
That he does. Don't be afraid to make it stupid and weird, man. We're big supporters of this.
We do like dumb. No,
yes.
I don't have a goblin. I've got the double barrel thing. Fury X, Fury Pro, yeah. the Star Trek blasters. I didn't even consider getting them. I couldn't do it.
I thought about it, but not for $170 where it's like, come on, man. Yeah, the Fury X.
Yeah, see, I would have also preferred, you know, the Boba Fett blaster either to be a single shot Mega or a single shot Mega XL. That would have been fun. That wouldn't be impossible to do either. I mean, there's plenty of space.
Yep, we got him. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, he's coming here shortly. We have Evan. Evan's going to be coming on. If you don't know who he is, just hold on. He will introduce himself, and you'll figure it out. But he is the man that has created the big Greg, which shoots Mega XL
That's the one.
blasters.
Yeah.
Dear God, like, yeah, that is Eric the Moose's remix of it, the Mammoth, but basically it's all based off of Greg figuring out the internals for it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evan figuring out the internals for it.
And especially getting the barrel material. Where do you find 30 millimeter inside diameter metal? Plunger tube is absurd.
Target? No? Wait.
Hardware store? Yeah. Swing by McClendon's. I'm sure they've got it in a row.
Sad thing. Well, we can find out where he finds it. It's got to be. Well, that's the best thing. Once you find the industrial or commercial supply houses, you can find everything and anything, man.
Oh, hello.
Aha!
There we go.
No,
Make sure everything's working properly.
we can see him. You can't.
Ah,
Probably for the best.
either that or both Cap and I are delusional.
I
We're
am
sharing
here.
delusions. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have Evan. Evan, man, what's shaking, brother? Welcome to Get Off My Lawn.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Evan, well, so for the record, people, this is the first time we get to meet and talk to Evan as well, so it's an all experience, and we're kind of a good actors, but we're not that good. We're not faking it. So this is the first time we get to talk to him as well. There you go. Yes, what he said.
So, I guess to preface before I get into anything, it's a little bit of like an imposter syndrome thing of wanting to call myself a designer, but I think I can qualify myself as a Nerf designer at this point because there's not really much qualifications that you need to be a Nerf designer other than creating something at least once. So
we do not, in fact, have a standards committee. No.
No.
I support this. You are a designer.
and something I eventually might talk more about too is it's despite the fact we don't have a lot of like actual, I don't want to say engineers in like a bad way, but despite the fact that they're not being
standards, just say
right.
We ain't
Despite
got no standards in this hobby, and it's horrible.
We've still achieved a lot of amazing things, though. For a lot of people who do not have engineering degrees, it's very cool to see what we've come up with. So,
oh my God, yes.
But yeah, so I am I don't know how else to say it other than just a dedicated nerd, I guess. I'm primarily a musician by trade. That's what I do to make a living and what I love to do. But I got into Nerf as like a really big hobby maybe 2 years ago when I found out about my local group. So I've been making like blaster modifications since I was a kid because who hasn't? I've always loved that stuff. But 2 years ago, getting into my local group, I found a purpose. And one of the thing was, if Joe happens to hear this, Joe is a shield user, and I wanted to make him unhappy as a shield user. That was my goal. So I wanted to create something that would fit with our group's rules and take out shields, but not just shields. Our group also utilizes Jedis, which are foam noodle fighting warriors that are immune to small darts and can only be taken out by large darts, and it is quite the fun time. We limit one Jedi per team. It's quite the game dynamic, but I had a goal to be able to take out large dart taken out individuals, including shields and Jedi. So I went into a massive project I probably shouldn't have, and I decided to make some type of Springer that could fire MXL. So through a long journey, I ended up to here with making Big Greg and Nerf War Crime Mark II and a whole other list of other projects that we can talk about. But I'll let you say more because you just asked me who I am. So that person who does stuff and things.
Oh, Evan, that is amazing. Well, first off, dude, musician, what do you play, man?
I'm just all around. I'm like a complete jazz head, drums, bass, guitar, bass, vocals, anything and everything that I can. It's my everything. I teach lessons, I do live sound, I play out anything and everything I can do. It's what I love. So that comes first, and then Nerf is just like the severe ADHD obsession that just keeps the brain going, as I'm sure we can all relate to. So.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No clue. No clue.
You're such a nerd. You're in the right place, man.
Cannot.
No.
Can't think of the word.
Yeah, couldn't
Can't
possibly.
relate. That's the word.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now with the Big Greg. Well, Cap already has questions about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I?
I'd love to answer whatever questions you guys have because I could ramble about it literally forever, and I don't want to. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'd love to hit those too, and then we can talk more about it as a whole.
How'd you
do the math?
There you go.
So I did do this project. It is built on the shoulders of giants. I could have not done this. I couldn't, it literally would not be possible without the wonderful open source community that we are in. So I have to give credit to a few specific people. Now, I'm not going to get the order right. It's not like necessarily a matter of importance, but the people are great. So Radioactive, for one. Radioactive helps run a server called 18, and they're very, very focused on efficiency and basically trying to see what is the most that we can possibly get out of springers. And there's a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas. Some things work out, some things don't. But as a whole, it's a whole community that wants to better Nerf from a very scientific point of view. Like, they take it very serious, doing volume calculations and trying to figure out ratios and formulas. For an example, one of the things that led me to this exact build was I was looking around in the server when I explained, like what I was just saying, I wanted an MXL build. And I found out about a working theory that there is an ideal ratio that you want to maintain between the inner diameter of your plunger tube and the inner diameter of your barrel. And the idea is that if you have too wide of a plunger tube, you end up creating an air brake effect. As the plunger is trying to shove all of that air through the barrel, you end up pressurizing it and stop. There's more air in the way than you can push through the barrel. The smaller it is, the easier it is to go through. And the fun thing about that is it scales up. I didn't know that at the time, but I wonder, okay, well, let's just scale up the ratio. So it is quite literally the ratio of a Caliburn barrel to a plunger tube, which I feel ridiculous. I don't remember the ratio off the top of my head, but that was the idea.
But that's good. Yes.
So I took an idea and ran with it. So Radioactive is a kind of like the person who does a lot of that stuff. And then specifically for the blaster itself, it is kind of quite literally a large Cynthia. So of course Silly, and through Silly, Captain Slug. Like, Slug's work has just derived to everybody. He is one of our founding fathers of our hobby for sure. So huge shout out to Tinkershot. He specifically, I would say, is probably one of the most researched individuals in high FPS, high efficiency out there. He has worked so hard to make gains that, like, I can't believe. So, fun fact about Tinkershot, he holds the record for the half dart FPS, which is currently 509 average with a Springer, which is absurd, obscene. It's crazy. And he's only doing that on like 60, 70 pounds of spring, which it's a lot of spring, but keep in mind, Big Greg at the big ranges that I'm doing is like 100 plus pounds. So he is truly incredible at this. He has something called a speed seal. So there's a few different types of two different main types of speed of seal geometry we see in the hobby. There is static and dynamic. Static means, I wish I had examples in front of me, but static means that the O-ring stays put. It doesn't move whatsoever. Dynamic means that the O-ring moves. Most of the time, an O-ring that moves around is a bad thing. You don't want that. Ideally, you want it to be pretty constrained, unless you have a specific scenario in which you can use the movement of the O-ring to actually give you a better seal. And what a speed seal does is it allows the air that it's pushing forward to push the O-ring out into the plunger tube. So it uses the force that it's already generating to have the O-ring push out and make a better seal. So it's, in my opinion, the best seal you could possibly have in this hobby. And Big Greg actually has it good enough that you can pull the trigger and it will sit for minutes, literally minutes. It's Tinkershot's work on seals is incredible. He gave me permission to basically reverse engineer what he did, and through lots and lots of trial and error, I figured it out. And the cool thing is it's actually relatively simple geometry, and that's not to knock him. It's just he found something incredible. It's very, very cool. So Silly, Slug, Tinkershot, Radioactive, Moose, of course. Have to give a huge thanks to Moose because I'm licensing it through him, and it's only possible. If there's anybody in this hobby I can think of who's really good at selling very large blasters, it would be him. So it made the most sense to possibly go with him. So the biggest thanks to Moose. I'm going to make sure that I'm not forgetting anybody.
It also helps that Moose is a large man too, so of course he sells big stupid things, man.
Big blaster.
Oh my God! It's just Eric's he's also large, and as he sells it. I'm a big guy. I want big things. Okay.
I also have to give a huge shout out to Chicken, designer who goes by Chicken. Chicken, I would argue, and some people might not like this opinion, but I think Chicken might be the only person who really has a scientific understanding of what B-cars are doing in our hobby. And that's a whole, oh my God, that's a whole rabbit hole. That's a whole thing. B-cars are so cool and I love them so much and they are incredible, but our understanding around them is so trial and error versus anything else. So Chicken is an engineering student and has done, I don't know if it's like trigonometry or calculus. I'm not a math person, but has done the math to be able to calculate what the darts should be doing and has literally created a calculator. Like, basically what you do is you go in there and input your specific variables, and it tells you what you need to do to be able to make a B car that works. That is really overgeneralizing of it, but I don't want to go necessarily too in the weeds. But it is through Chicken's technology that I was able to create the MXL B car that has made this whole project possible. If there's anything that I'm proud of in Big Greg and Mammoth Greg through Moose, it's the accuracy that you can achieve. Not every shot is going to be perfect, but you can get person accuracy at 100 feet over 250 FPS through the B car. It's kind of absurd. It's fun. It's a really good time, and that wouldn't be possible without Chicken. So Slug, Silly, Tinker Shot, Radioactive, Chicken, Moose. Those are the shout outs. Those are the thank yous. They deserve to be. Give them your money. Give them all your money. So yeah.
No, we're gonna give it to you because you took what they made and you made this monster. So that's fantastic.
And I appreciate that.
Which Captain Xavier and I were talking earlier, and yeah, he shot his building, which is across the street from his living room, through the door. And how much of an arc did you put on it?
None.
The dart drop is non-existent. That really genuinely shocked me in my beginning testing, because like I'm viewing this in real time just as much of a nerd as we all are watching this happen. The first couple times I tested over 200 FPS, the max range that I have is from outside one of my windows to a fence on the edge of my property, just about 100 feet. I kid you not, like this much drop. It's not even a matter of like trying to brag or be ego. It's just like, it's unbelievable. These things carry their energy and momentum for a long time in the air. I really want to do a test at some point where I shoot a chronograph over 100 feet away to see how much velocity it loses in its travel, to see, like, since it's heavier, how much it's keeping up. But I don't want to shoot my chronograph. So I'll get that eventually.
Yeah, that would be a tricky shot to pull off, but I'd be curious about those numbers too.
Yeah, that's something I've wanted to do for a little while. I also apologize. When I get excited, I just go and ramble. So I don't want to talk over you guys too much.
If you talk too much, we'll tell you to get off our lawn. We don't need to be polite. We're old men.
I understand. I get it.
I'm still just completely fascinated by all of this.
Well, just to play off of that then, because Cap, with the Moose, you're able to hit the 100 pretty steadily and regularly in the range.
Yes. With the Moose, with the scope that I have on here, I can hit the pie pan at 100 feet 5 times out of 5.
Oh yeah,
so
it's dumb.
Yeah.
Starting with that, you could potentially then experiment with the Moose first, with how much is lost there, and then transition over and see if you can do the same thing with the Mammoth.
Yeah, the Moose has about a 1 foot drop at 100 feet, which is still ridiculous.
Absurd. Yeah. So cool.
It does have to be Mega XL ammo though. Or AccuFake. Anything but AccuFake ammo, you might as well throw the dart at them. But with AccuFakes, it's just ridiculous. Luckily, I bought hundreds of AccuFakes when they were
so did I.
$20 for 400 or something ridiculous.
I have 3,500 MXL. That's all I'm gonna say.
Where did you get
I don't have enough Mega XL. I've got a ridiculous number of Mega. I don't have enough Mega XL. I don't know how many I have, but I don't want to cut them down. And unfortunately, this takes cut down Mega XL. Luckily, Moose sent me a bunch of ammo for it. So I won't have to cut too much of my own stuff for a while.
Yes.
Surely someone out there sells 30 millimeter.
Oh. The thing, so it's a really complicated problem. The thing about MXL as a whole is just so sad that Nerf killed it so quick. Like, it was one of the coolest things they've ever released, and they just axed it right from the beginning. It's such a shame. Like, but I don't want to out the source, because then they're just going to be gone forever. But they're already gone forever. I'll say this: there is a very easy.
Don't say it out loud on the stream.
I'm not going
Send it to me privately, you mook.
But there is a very easy source locally for most people in the United States to be able to get what remains of the stock. And it's not going to be there for long. But if you know where to find it, it's there.
Look, there isn't an Ollie's within 3,000 miles of me.
Yeah, you're out of luck then.
I have one. I got to go buy mine again. It's been forever since I've been there.
I have personally cleared out 5 Ollies for every single MXL they had. And I've had somebody else clear out 2 Canadian tires for every single MXL they had and bring it to me from across the border. Thank you so much, Garen. Thank you.
Yes, unfortunately, like I said, the nearest Ollie's, think is in Michigan.
Yikes.
Wait.
I didn't realize that was an East Coast thing.
Pause for a second. Jim, Ludus Games, if you're in there, brother, Canadian Tire, go hit that shit up. Someone message Anthony. All right, anyways, carry on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so wait a minute. So, Evan, where are you located? I'm guessing you're in Texas, correct?
No, I'm in New York. I'm
Oh.
I'm right outside of Buffalo, Western New York Nerf Club.
Why did I think so I've driven by you God knows how many times, man.
Oh, are you Ontario-ish area or Ontario Buffalo area?
Born and raised in Toronto. I now live in Northern Virginia,
okay.
but I go back and
Gotcha.
visit family all the time. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, cool.
Yep. Yeah.
So, are you coming down to Mayhem?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited for Maryland. This is my first year I feel like properly going as a designer. My first year going to be able to represent myself here. I'll be able to show it a little bit. You could see the Nerf War Crime over here too, which you'll be able to show videos of. It's still in very much so testing mode. It's not very practical to move around right now, but I've got a whole table full of stuff that I am putting my everything into getting out, which of course the stuff that's already out, like Big Greg, Mammoth Greg, but hopefully some stuff that you'll see there, which here's some other cool things. Where's the thing? So I'm working.
Then I'm going to ask about the War Crime.
So Big
Go ahead,
Greg.
then ask about that. Yep.
Big Greg is what I would like to call the Nerf War Crime ecosystem. As ridiculous as that is, I have many plans to use that blaster over in different ways. So some examples of the things that I have planned, and this is the one that's coming now, which, you know what, before I even say it, I'm just going to show you the primary part of it and I'll let you. So this is the spring that powers Big Greg. It's about 11 inches. They compress. They take a little bit of a set over time. And if you want really high power, you put two of them together because it's hard to get a really powerful spring this size. So this is Big Greg, about 12 inches.
Wow.
This is Greg Hefty's spring. So comparison there. I'm working on another version of Big Greg right now that is quite literally the same thing, but just 3.5 inches more draw because I'm ridiculous and I have no morals as a Nerf creator. So So there's a record, like I was saying, 18 earlier, radioactive. Another part that really inspired me for this is there's a very active community of people that want to break these records, which is nice to have, and I'm glad that there's been over a long time. Sometimes it ebbs and flows, but I want to break a few records, and this is basically the largest spring they'll let me use, which is safely understandable. This is over 120-pound, 20-inch spring. This is utterly ridiculous, but I'm going in it for record breaking. And also, to be clear, my design features literal pounds of plastic in between this and anything that's important, like your face and stuff. So yeah. There's pounds of plastic, polycarbonate tube that's rated to thousands of pounds. There's no damage. It's just, can you prime the thing? So this is I'm hoping to break over 300 FPS MXL. That's the plan with this. So
will it still shoot then? Will that shoot the full size Mega XL or still the cut down?
The full. So that Big Greg, the one that Mammoth is like a reskin of, shoots full and half length. It takes the full length mags and half length and an adapter. So
wow. Yeah, I wish mine had done that. I wish it had full, but
that's why there's both options though. Moose wanted to, because the thing is, if you want to use it at higher FPS, full MXL has this really hard cap somewhere around 180 where it just, it is not going to go where you point. Like, I kid you not, it will go 100 feet one direction and take a 90-degree turn right. Like, they legitimately have a mind of their own. It's surreal. Test it out sometime. But full-length MXL have a very hard cap of where you can go above. I've literally seen one go and then just go up. Like, it literally just curved up. And went like,
Light Rival will do that too.
Yes, yeah, it's similar, but yeah.
I mean, Mega has the same problem, which is why we use Mega AccuFakes. If we had a Mega XL AccuFake, we'd be a whole different.
That would be cool. I hope to see that one day, but somebody with a lot of money would have to get behind that. But like I was saying,
one person with a rubber mold, a silicon mold, you could silicon mold your own heads if you'd have to make them by hand and you'd be, you'd hate it, but
that's true.
You could 3D model it, make a mold, and then just silicone mold your own stuff. I mean, you can also 3D print it out of TPU with a ridiculously low infill and then never shoot it at a living creature.
Moose,
but we want to shoot our friends with it.
Moose has been creating because something
I know. I've got a bag of his 3D printed stuff.
Okay, cool. So those are like those are pretty optimal. Those are
yeah. That was the one where I fired it from my living room, hit my shop, shot a absolute laser the entire way with no drop, and I'm just standing there going, I need more enemies so I can shoot this at them.
At that range, that is legitimately dangerous, which is why it has the disclaimer that it does. This is not to be used against people. Yeah. Like if you were going to use this against people, I would not run it much above 100 FPS. It is just not intended for that over high. It was record-breaking events, legitimately, as stated, it is record-breaking events.
No, this is a thought experiment, is what this is.
Yes, precisely. So something I was getting to is I really wanted there to be this whole ecosystem. So we've got here. I'll pull up my list over here. We've got Big Greg, of course, which is mine, which takes full and half lengths, and it's just an octagon full of hate, as Moose says, which I can't deny. I can't deny that. Where's my general project list? There we go. Okay, so we've got Big Greg.
Interesting question.
Then the one I was just telling you about with the big spring is Greg Hefty, which is a play on Greg Heffley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Greg Hefty. There is the BFG, which I don't know if I can say what that is on the show. That is a you can assume
big
what
freaking gun.
Yeah, the big freaking Greg. There is Little Greg, which there is pictures, but we can get to that at some point. I sent you the Little Greg is a Lynx. It's literally a Mega XL Lynx. I'm really excited to get further in development of that one. And then I have Greg but Flywheel, which is my minigun over here. And then I have Hand Cannon Greg, which is just like an MXL Rainbow. This one is fun. Bee Swarm Greg. Bee Swarm Greg is a volley gun. It basically is like 10-foot long half dart barrels for Big Greg. There's like a custom shell system where you'd push them all in like a speed loader. So it should do like 10 darts within this wide at like all at 300 FPS. It will be absurd. It will be absolutely absurd.
Did you send us a picture of that, or is that just still in concept?
That's still conceptual. All the stuff that I sent.
Okay.
I want the belt fed one.
That's a word. Oh yeah. If you are gonna show an example, show the example the most recent one that I sent, because I got some pretty big advancements today.
I want it.
Plan
you get that, brother?
It looks like the Marines full auto 40mm grenade launcher.
It's based off of a Mark 19, but at the same time, it was like I'm not a big fan of real steelization, I guess, of the hobby. But like nobody has a real Mark 19. I can make a blocky, goofy version of a Mark 19. This is okay. It can be vaguely shaped on it. It's
like a minigun. It's like, yes, the minigun exists, but no one is going to jump to the assumption that somebody has a real minigun.
What civilians have a
clearly
minigun?
A toy.
Yeah, that one for me is like I'm not a big fan of making like gun-looking objects. I'm just not. I'd prefer not to. So, but it's vaguely shaped on it because it's a big. They're big blue rounds. They look like the 40mm grenades. It's too much to take.
Within the hobby, there's a reason guns are shaped the way they are, because that's the ideal ergonomic way to make them. And so trying to make something that isn't gun shaped but functions like a gun, you're gonna have to make something that's an ergonomic nightmare, which sometimes is fun. You're gonna have some weird shoulder mounted stuff or underarm mounted stuff, and I've seen some. You're like, I appreciate what you've done there, but you can also go the sci-fi route. Like, I mean, this is very
he did such an amazing job.
Sci-fi,
like 20 out of 10. I commend his I don't see aesthetic like that. I wish I did. I'm a very function first for function over form kind of. So
I get it. Like, it's just like, wow.
It's beautiful. Yeah. No, he nailed it. He nailed it.
Also, somebody asked in the comments, and I have the answer. Mine weighs 13.5 pounds.
It's not light. Nothing about it is. Everything about Big Greg is big. It really is a fitting name, which also I have to thank Chicken for that. Chicken helped me. I have a few things in my life that are named Greg, like a music project. Just like a few goofy things that I decided to name Greg that are not people because it's a funny thing. So yeah, Big Greg is
How's your rotator cuff after priming these things over and over and over and over and over?
Fine from decades of drumming.
Fair enough.
I do much more damage from that. So
what is the FPS on these two mammoths? That's the one thing I forgot. What is the FPS on these things?
Mammoth is capable of a range of FPS. If you put a K14 and some spacers in there, you're probably going to hit about 150s-ish. If you do a K12, you're going to get into the 180s. If you do the Type 21 by itself, it's going to be pretty low. The thing about that specific... So there's a few variants of Mammoth and Big Greg. There's CQB Greg, which takes a foot-long barrel, and there's Baby Mammoth Greg, which takes a foot-long barrel. And the idea of both of those is that they can be very optimized for lighter spring loads. So I made CQB Greg because K14, which I think that's like a 50-pound prime, which to me, like, once again, not ego, but just from testing this nonsense, that's a light prime to me at this point. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Like having and you get 140 FPS out of that through the B car. That's more than most places are probably going to let you use already from a prime lighter than a Nexus Pro X stock. Like it's ludicrous. I'm really happy with CQB Greg too, because you can actually use it as long as you're being respectful and safe, not trying to actually hurt people. But all things considered, you can get a range of performance, but if you are going for lower performance, you're going to get wicked standard deviation in a bad way with the longer barrel and lower springs. That's why I have the separate version for the lower, but higher the FPS that you're going to expect to see. If you do just the K12 or the K12 and the Type 21 together, you're going to see either 190 or all the way up to 260 FPS without the B car. That I've seen a few people have sent me highs of 275 coming from Mammoth with extra spacers. So yeah, Mammoth as is. If you want to put extra spacers in there and really bruise your shoulder, you can get up to the 270s.
I already have to prime it with two hands, and I kind of wish it had a stirrup.
Yeah, the stirrup would be cool. I've thought about that. Honestly, I've somebody else suggested, I can't remember, the Mega XL crossbow would be really cool too, of some sort.
Basically, a crossbow style stirrup.
That would, I was literally going to make like a big crossbow. I've got a bunch of designs. That's why I recently started a Patreon. So if things ever do start selling, people can fund my absolute nonsense. Because like
why not, man?
I already put a lot into this, probably more than I already financially responsibly should, but it's really good for my mental health. It's been so much fun developing this stuff, and like being in this situation now makes it all worth it. To see people with my blaster all around the world is surreal, genuinely surreal. I'm so happy. So,
dude, that's awesome. It's well earned, man. Well done. That's part of why. It's part of what we love about this hobby is when you have an idea, there will be one or two people that say that's stupid, get out of here, and those people we try to just take out and remove and say go away, don't ever come back. Whereas the other 97% will say yes, do it, let's see it, this is awesome. So that's the great thing about it is the overwhelming support. You'll always have a troll, but as I tell people, it doesn't matter if two people crap on your idea. 98 others said yes. What gives two dumbasses that probably don't know how to dress themselves in the morning? Their mom makes them breakfast, and they probably have serious issues. You can listen to what they have to say. Go crawl back in your hole and die because really we don't need you here, and you don't count. So percentages.
I try not to.
This is a high percentage. You're doing amazing.
I appreciate it. I try not to take criticism is going to be there. I created something inherently powerful, and I understand that not everybody's going to like that, but I'm doing it for the right reasons. So I'm morally content with what I'm doing. I've made the disclaimers clear. I've made my personal point on the matter clear. I'm doing this for fun. So it's
yeah. So like I said, this is a thought experiment, and there's nothing wrong with that.
To very quick,
can I do it?
To very quickly touch on something you said, because I was just recently given the opportunity, like literally 3 days ago, to give a presentation at a college convention about Nerf.
Oh yeah, tell us about this.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 600 people there. This is a very last minute thing, and oh my god, it's just like kind of stressing me out for the writing. But besides that, there's one line in there that really resonated with something for me with what you said. I still believe to this day, and this was a big point of the talk, the whole point that I wanted to make is like why you should Nerf. I want to give like a cool history and tell like this hobby at its core has always been full of innovation. We have always been full of people that, despite having an engineering degree or not, have always pushed the boundaries of what is possible. And that is still the same to this day. There's nothing stopping anybody from creating something super cool looking or literally game changing or even just for fun to this day. Nerf is not a solved problem. That is something I literally put
No.
in there. It's not, and it never will be. So there's always room for people to go in there. If you think there's a creative outlet that you can fit in with whatever niche you want to, do it. Please do it. So yeah,
Well,
understood.
one of the earliest innovators in Nerf and in squirt guns was a NASA engineer.
Yeah.
Lonnie Johnson
Lonnie,
was a
right,
NASA
yeah,
engineer. And so the early Super Soakers and the Supermax blasters were all based on his design. And, you know, if a NASA engineer is willing to put his energy into this, you know.
Yeah, completely.
It's, to go along with what Al said, I don't listen to trolls anymore. My philosophy on it is I don't take criticism from people I wouldn't go to for advice.
Yeah,
And
no, I
random
understand
kids
that.
on the internet who are younger than my toenail fungus are not people I turn to for advice. So, you know, it doesn't work.
On that note too, though, I am so thankful to have the community that I do.
Oh,
There
God,
is such an
yes.
incredible community here, and the
It's-
friends that I have and the people that like just keep me inspired to do this are the best.
Well, I mean,
and I'm very happy.
everything I've got, all of the fame I've got, all the things I've gotten to do, all the places I've gotten to visit, all of it is because of the community. It's all because of the fans. And they're the reason I keep doing this, and they're why it is so easy to ignore the trolls.
Mhm.
Because one unhappy person being mean on the internet does not does not even begin to diminish the light of the awesome people that we have.
It is a little bit of a struggle though, like, and it is something
It
that
takes
like,
time to
and
get
I'm not,
used to.
and I'm not even like a big content creator or anything, but
Mhm.
like, I guess as a musician, it definitely like, not everybody's going to like what you do or who you
Yeah.
are, and it is a hard thing to sometimes just realize like, you can only let it affect you so much. Take the valid criticisms where you can, but you still just got to cut it off after a certain point. It's only so useful.
It is a skill to learn the difference between somebody being a troll and somebody giving constructive criticism poorly. Because a lot of people just word it badly. They're trying to give advice, they're trying to give an idea, but they're a 12-year-old on the internet, or they're a nerd with social issues who doesn't understand how to give good constructive criticism.
Myself included. I try.
Yeah, I have to. It is a struggle for me to respond to comments sometimes when somebody says something. You're like, that's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and you go to respond, calling them an idiot, and then you realize this person is probably 12, and I shouldn't be a dick.
Yes, I
used to not be so good at that. I've gotten a lot better at being nice in my comments, to either just ignore stuff or to take a moment and go, wait a minute, what if this person is 9 and I'm about to crush them by being a jerk to their
and that's also the weird thing too, is even though I've barely done anything, I can recognize just like people who've done anything in this community, the weight of your words matter. And I think some people don't take enough of that for granted, unfortunately. Not to, like, this is not about anybody specifically. It's just like, I don't know. What we say matters in these contexts, and I just generally, my whole thing about this is I love this. This is what I love to do, and I love to support other people in what they want to do. This is supposed to be a constructive place for all of us, and the designing, specifically the designing community that I've been exposed to. The sad reality is there's no money in Nerf. We all kind of understand and accept that there's no money in Nerf. So open sourcing our designs and having it be for the better of all the other designers is just the way to go. Why hold it off if we're never going to be legitimately making income from this? It's not for that. It's make the community better. So it's a really cool thing that there's nothing like this community. Like, there's so many benefits, like you're saying, a NASA scientist. And that's hopefully the whole thing I'm going to do at the talk is like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you can physically be there in some capacity to do this, try it. It's worth it. It's fun. We're all just there for the same reason. And as soon as you get into it, everybody gets the same mindset of, I need better blaster. I need it. So
I've said earlier before you got here that one of the things I love about it is the variety of the hobby. We've got everything from full costume, full immersion LARP to casual wars in a public park. We've got competitive play. We've got HVZ, which is kind of LARP, but very LARP light. We've got
LARP light,
We've got like what I have in my arena, which is not a public war, but it's also not as competitive as like the 5v5 stuff. And then you've got stuff like this, where it's just pure engineering for the sake of engineering. which is one of the better reasons to do anything, in my opinion, is to find out, can it be done? Can I do this? What are the limits? Are there limits? Ha!
There's
scoff
actually,
at your limits.
as a creative person, and this is like such an important thing in music, but like as any creative person will find, when we make something, we make it for two general audiences. Other people, them, whoever else, and us. And it's a mixture on product to product of how much am I making this for me and how much am I making this for other people. And that is a really strong question you have to ask in music sometimes, because like, do I want to create the super dense thing that's really only going to apply to people who like really dense jazz fusion, or do I want to make something more adjacent to pop music to get more people into this because it's just going to reach a wider audience? There is a back and forth point of accepting, what do I do for them, what do I do for me? And in this blaster, I can be real, almost everything was for me. Like I'm doing these designs for me and for me first. And I'm not trying to say that to be like egotistical. It's like, that's the inspiration though. I made these so I can use and I can have fun with them in my groups, and I can take you out, Joe, as a shield user. I'm so sorry.
You see, what you touched upon there is exactly what we always, what it says it from like a content perspective, but at the same time, exactly like what you're saying, is that when you get into this, and if you start trying to figure out what people want you to do or do what other people expect, it is a path that's just going to lead to the same end, which is complete burnout, and you're not going to be happy, and you're going to be angry, and it's like, no, don't do it. When people offer ideas, they can, and something go, no, make what you want to make, do what you want to do, because then you truly put your whole self into it. That's when you really get like leaps and bounds and create things or make things and do things, man. And it is yourself. And the reward in the end, even if only 2 people like it and the other 100 don't, it doesn't matter, because you did what you wanted to do and it was successful. Now, if of the 100 people, 99 like it, oh wow, even a bigger win. Yay, I get to share what I like. But either way, the whole point is do what you want to do, man. And that's when it leads to success, good mental health, and happiness.
Yeah, I think it's good to experiment with all aspects of it. Like Big Greg was for me. Little Greg, I'm trying to make as more of a community-minded thing. Like I think that could actually be used. It should be able to hit 100-ish FPS, which is around probably the upper end that a lot of places are going to allow MXL, but B-car accurate, Lynxoid, so compact. That I want that to actually be like, hey, does your comp allow MXL? Because I'm gonna mess with their rules. Like I'm trying to make something legitimately useful. Big Greg is not that. Big Greg was, I want to see what I can achieve. Little Greg is hopefully going to be a little bit more practical. So yeah, no, it's a balance. It's choices there and not. I just want to make sure I ask again, do you guys have any other questions with Greg? Because I really want to make sure if there was any questions about it that I answered, because I know there's a lot going on there.
Where do you source the hardware? Where do you get a 30 millimeter internal diameter metal tube?
That is unfortunately the biggest bottleneck. Oh, yeah, that would be one other person I forgot to shout out. His online name is Waf. I'm not sure what else he goes by. He's been in the community for a long time. Waf is good at sourcing stuff from China. Very, very, very good. So, and I am very, very appreciative. This would literally not be possible without his help too, purely because of logistics. So what happens is those are like ordered in Mandarin from China, shipped to an intermediary country, and then shipped here because there's no way else I could get them. Not because it's wrong to get them. It's just there's no other logistical way possible. Yeah. It's a nightmare. Like the amount that you have to pay on shipping on getting all of those. But once you have those, that is the MXL barrel material. For the first generation MXL that were produced, if there ever is a second, that is the barrel material to have. And it's not ego saying that, it's a bunch of trial and error. Like it is slug barrel compared to 0.509. Like if you're putting a dart in there, like everything else that people were using was like really loose to it, wasn't optimal. This is 0.509. It's literally tight to the dart. You'd have to twist it to push it through. And that's what was needed, was just a really good compression barrel. And that's kind of like I was saying with CQB, Greg, that barrel is good enough that you can cut it down to a foot and still get really good efficiency.
Really good to see.
Yeah.
What about springs? Are you getting them custom made? Have you looked into getting them custom made? Or are they just ones that you managed to source from trolling McMaster Car?
A huge goal of this project was to make it take hobby standard springs. Because like, so one of the things is my whole idea with this too is I wanted to break the kinetic energy record, which kinetic energy record, it's not a specific dart FPS. It's whatever the weight of the dart is versus the FPS, how many joules we're getting out of it.
Yeah.
So for reference, I'm sure we all know this, but just like for anybody listening, I think 200 FPS is like right around like 2.2 joules, something like that. It's probably a little bit less. I should have the chart in front of me, but for let's just say reference, 200 FPS, 2 joules. Big Greg at 270 is hitting 20. It is literally 10 times the power of a half dart in terms of kinetic energy output.
Because it's 10 times the weight.
Not 10 times the weight. The 1 gram versus 6 gram. Where it gets really important is the deflection of the head. When I actually got one right here. When the MXL hits, it's got so much squash that you end up with a much larger surface area upon contact than you would with something else. And also one other important thing, the kinetic energy density, I think I'm saying that right. And people are going to flame me for this, but it's basically just taking the joule output that you have and dividing it by the area of the head. So you can basically see like how much energy per unit of head is impacted. And what's interesting is MXL is almost the same as a half dart. So when you're getting hit by a 300 FPS half dart, or 280 FPS MXL, it's like you're getting hit by like four half darts clustered at that FPS all together at the same time, but with a lot more oomph to it. So it's not so dangerous in that like it's not a toy anymore at that point, but it's also not a legitimate weapon. You know, it is in a nice gray area in between at its highest point.
It's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna damage.
Yeah, the only thing I would say you probably like don't get shot in the teeth. I'm sure that wouldn't be good. A lot of NIC
Yeah, why I wear a full mask. Yeah,
a lot of NIC nerfers back in the day when glue domes were a thing. A lot of people lost teeth. A lot of people lost teeth. Glue domes are behind us for a good reason. Oh my god.
But they chipped teeth so that we could have this.
Yes. Like I said, it's generally something to be precautious of with too. But I wasn't making something intentionally to be. I don't know. I think you understand my intentions on this blaster.
Yeah, your intentions are very clear. No worries. No worries.
It's a thought experiment. It's can I do it? It's not can I make a blaster that will, lacerate someo's liver in a Nerf war?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not trying to rupture someone's kidney. That wasn't the goal.
So it takes hobby standard springs. That was a huge goal of it. I just wanted it to take things that you could easily get. The barrel is the only like hitch in the chain. Everything else through Amazon, McMaster, Roboman, because it uses the moose nut, which is what he had it made for the moose one. No context. My blaster has moose nut and moose spit because of the lube and it's just part of the blaster. It's very, very necessary and important.
I wondered why it's greasy.
From Roboman, Amazon, McMaster car. Am I missing anything? McMaster car, and then the barrel is the outlier. I wanted to make sourcing reasonable, and I have 80 barrels. 80. So I'm prepared to stock them for a while. And I'm also selling them individually to incentivize more MXL builds. Please make more MXL builds. Please. Please. So
we should plug that there. So where can people find your the link since you just plugged it now?
I guess just get a hold of me on Discord in the moment, but I have an Etsy coming together soon. It probably won't be labeled Nerf because of Etsy's new changes coming along. It will probably just be like,
I've heard about that.
Nerf something. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Either they're cracking down completely, or we're just going to have to be careful with keywords. But that's a separate conversation. We'll see it as it happens.
We'll have that show when that happens. Then we can complain about it unilaterally.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember. Yeah, it happens. Facebook got real squirrely for a while about it, and then kind of settled down. And then there was the big scare about Kappa that was largely a scare, but it's stuff we have to take into account.
Worst case scenario, I will just convince Moose to take all of my barrel stock and sell them from his shop. No.
I think this might push me to create a Shopify account. So
yeah, I think Moose was a really good example too. How like you don't necessarily have to be out of darts. We still we are still a growing community. Some
Oh,
person,
yeah.
and I'm not saying some person in a derogatory way, but anybody other than Out of Darts can start a page and be successful. And of course, you have to have like, the ability to create all these epic stuff like Moose does as well. But in principle, anybody has the ability to start a Shopify shop and have good Nerf sales if you want to, which is cool.
Yeah,
It says a lot about our community.
The key is the advertising, which we nerds are just lousy at.
Yeah. Everybody needs to hire a what's
PR
it called?
person, marketing agency.
Yeah,
It
SEO, an SEO person. If you hired the
Oh my
SEO
God.
person that Frontline Foam has, you'd be cooking. So
Yeah, to give props where they deserve. Obviously one of the reasons Out of Darts is so good is he came to our hobby from the advertising world. He
Yes.
has the charisma and
Yeah.
the know-how of how to market stuff.
yeah,
And he does it very
absolutely.
well. And then a lot of other people, they send me stuff and I make a video and people buy stuff.
So
It
part of
seems to be working.
this has been
Less
like my
so than it
mission.
used to be, but that's okay.
It's still part of it.
Ebbs and flows.
So,
I've run out of room.
oh my God.
Yeah,
we gotta
I
get you another
feel that.
container.
Oh my God, I feel that.
Part of it is like why go along with Dart Zone to conventions? Why do I bring people in hobby spaces? It's I am overseeing people that are just trying to corner the market on the finite number of people that we have in the hobby, and I'm tired of seeing creators, not currently but in the past or otherwise, or just allegedly so, fighting over, you know what I mean, who gets the 100 people going to buy my stuff instead of someone else's stuff. It's like it is incredibly limiting. Instead of trying to 100% corner the market, which you will not because there's so many facets to this, how about a different concept altogether? Grow the damn hobby. So instead of trying to sell to 100 people and trying to get 90% of the sales to 100 people, how about we grow it to 10,000 people? You only sell 10%, but you're making a lot more money. You get much more product. More people are happy. More people. It's called growth. It's a thing. So that is what I always push. And it's not just buy my stuff. Go find it. Make other people's. Expand it. You know what I mean? That's my thing.
Yeah.
And
Nerf is the second most popular toy. Nerf is the second most popular toy after Lego. Pretty much every household probably has at least a Nerf blaster. But the vast majority of them have no idea that our hobby exists. Because again, we're lousy at advertising. And bizarrely, the big companies are doing nothing to help that.
No, and that is so bizarre. Nerf should be like 5 times bigger
Nerf
than Airsoft.
Doesn't acknowledge that we exist.
We should have Nerf fields in every city. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but Lego is not. There are official Lego conventions. There are Lego stores. Their marketing is amazing, and it focuses on the hobby, on AFOLs, on adult fans of Lego. There is no Nerf equivalent within Hasbro's sphere. They don't push the existence of us. They market to kids.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Kids don't have money. We have money. And it's weird. Dart Zone is doing a much better job at targeting a more adult audience. Worker is obviously doing a better job at like the stuff they make. But again, there's no advertising. There's no TV commercials for, hey, take your Nerf blaster to the local park. There's probably a club. Hey, go to this website. That'll tell you where your local club is. Because you know how it works. You buy one Nerf blaster to plink within your house, that's cool. You find out there's a Nerf war once a month down at the park where there's people with blasters like this, and you go buy 50 Nerf blasters.
Mm-hmm.
The marketing is just so poorly done. It's baffling.
absolutely.
And that's, of course, what the World Foam Alliance is trying to work towards fixing. Is being that place where you can meet someone who goes, oh, I used to play Nerf when I was a kid. Oh, hey, go to this website. It'll show you if there's a club near you. If there isn't, click this button on the website. It'll show you how to start a club near you. You know, that.
How do we get a hold of every Parks and Rec in the entire United States?
Yeah.
Every single Parks and Rec department.
Standard document that you can take to the Parks and Rec that's going to answer all of their questions. Is it safe? Do you clean up? Do you have insurance? Do you because all the parks are going to ask the same question. All the police departments are going to ask the same question. And you need to know which questions are going to get asked and what the answers are and what you need to have in place to be ready to answer them. And the problem is most people have no idea how to do that. They don't know how to set up a club that involves a projectile weapon that could hurt somebody if used improperly. Yeah. How do you do that? Well, we're working towards that. And it will help people like yourself to get more resources to make more crazy, wild stuff. That's
You
why
guys
I do the reviews that I do. That's why I don't charge people to review stuff. Like, send me the thing. I'll make a video about it. You'll sell 5 more. Maybe it'll be worth your time.
Do you guys have like a guide on how to start a Nerf club? I feel like
I
that
have
could
a
be a
whole
cool
video
thing.
on how to start a Nerf club.
That's so cool.
But
Is that
He
is that
does.
an old? Is
Wolf
that an
of
older?
Lines
or
it's a
as well.
very old video, but it's still relevant. None of the information
maybe
has
a
changed.
remodernization of that could be cool.
I
'cause there's a
absolutely,
lot
and that's one of the
changed.
things that once we get the website going, I will almost certainly do a dedicated one for the World Foam Alliance of
Oh yeah.
here's how you
Awesome.
can get a club started. Here are the things you're going to need to worry about. Here's, and a lot of that is the resources. If you
Indeed.
want to get to a really good venue, you're going to need insurance. How do you create a 501c3 or a nonprofit? How do you form an LLC or whatever in order to get insurance? How do you get event insurance? Because again, as you mentioned, there's no centralization in this hobby. There's no standards committee. There's no standard. Like if you wanted to start a little league for baseball, there's national organizations for that, for how to get that set up. There is nothing like that for Nerf.
That brings me to a really good point of something I'm doing very similar of like, I've been, as much as these communities are massive, a lot of the information ends up segmented in these places, and we don't have any main, I don't want to say authority because that's not the place, but we don't have any main place or location for people to get anything. And something I've been doing is I've been working on a YouTube video that talks about like, what is modern Springer tuning? What the community has done a lot, but there's not many videos they're talking about how to make a modern brushless flywheeler. There is Jack telling you how to do that. There's videos from 6 years ago with controllers that don't exist anymore. Like,
yeah,
it's a missing out thing. So maybe I'll get a hold of you guys sometime soon if maybe we can, because I'm working on a video series right now about like talking about this stuff. So
yeah,
I will
and that's why I
definitely
do
more, so.
the rewired videos that I do. It's why I do the Kanateka K26. It's why I did Monday mod tips. It's because the information didn't exist, and so I created it because I wanted to live in a world where it existed.
Yeah.
Back in the days of the now defunct auxiliary, one of the things that I wanted to work towards was a standard knowledge depository, a Nerf hobby wiki of sorts.
Yeah.
That could have links, that could be updated, that people could update, that would have links to resources for materials, for build guides, for all of that stuff. Because there used to be Nerf Haven, but that's long since unraveled, and Reddit is a cesspool that I try to avoid. My channel has a lot of educational stuff, but I don't have everything. I haven't covered brushless motors yet because I don't know them well enough. I've built brushless blasters. The Smart Gun is brushless. I know how to do it, but I don't know that I'm doing it well enough to be someone that someone should go to ask how to do it. There are parts in that Smart Gun I don't know why they work.
Totally understood.
They just do, and I quit asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how the actual connection that turns on the backpack works. As far as I understand, it shouldn't. But that's also how I understand MOSFETs work. We don't know why MOSFETs work. We just know that if we put power here and connect this, it sends the power through. It shouldn't. They're magic. We don't know how. So it's entirely possible that there is no way to understand how the Smart Gun works. And I have all the knowledge there is to have. But I know I'm not the central authority or, should be considered the authority on absolutely anything. There is nothing that I am the authority on. There's always someone out there who knows more than you.
We would benefit so much from having more of this stuff in one place. It would be really, really nice to have. I think there's a lot of good people that could contribute to something like that, and especially as a 501c3, which is actually something I'm pretty familiar with because of music stuff. Like, if you find the right people who want to fund you, you can make a real thing, because it's hard to make people want to run a wiki when you're not getting paid. That is a hard, unfortunate
It's a lot
truth.
of work. People do not understand how much work it is to run a database.
Full-time job. Like, whoever is running that place is working at least 40 hours a week, at least.
Yeah, because you got to keep track of if you're keeping track of materials, you have to make sure that those links are good. When a company quits selling the as you said, the B Heli controller you need for your brushless. All right, well, what's the new source? What are we using now? Somebody has to be researching that, and that takes time. Mm-hmm. And you have to vet that it's actually good. You have to test it. You have to guarantee that yes, this controller will work with this motor, will do this thing with this code. That's not a thing you do in your spare time of an afternoon, and you think about all of the different hardware kits that are out there, all of the multiple screws that are out there.
Multiple people to be like very specialized too.
Yeah. I would
don't know,
love
though.
to
I will-
see something
I will
that
keep in
vaguely
touch with you
resembles.
guys.
Hmm?
Because
What?
I will keep in touch with you guys about this because I genuinely
Dude.
have been like trying to do something similar. I was planning
Yeah.
on releasing a comprehensive series talking about what is missing. It's like it was going to be like an hour-long video with parts. It's not made to get like a bunch of views on YouTube, but it's like, hey, how do I do this thing? Why is my Springer not working? Or what is a brushless? Here's a video. Here's something that explains it to you in the modern sense. So yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
And that, like, I mean,
Very
that's
cool.
always been a core part of my channel. Has always been education, which is why Hasbro doesn't like me, because I keep teaching people how to modify their blasters.
Like you're saying though, it's such a missed opportunity. Like
it's
Nerf should be 20
baffling.
times the size of Airsoft. Like there
Yeah,
could be
it's-
Nerf fields everywhere. It's such a good thing to do as
The
a
one-
community sport.
yeah.
It's
The other one that they
Unfortunate.
fumbled so hard, it's like they had to have done it on purpose, is how badly they fumbled HVZ. It was at one point played on 700 campuses across the United States. It's got on a lot
Wow.
thanks to things like COVID, and a lot of school shootings have made it a lot more difficult. But at its heyday, when Zombie Strike came out, or before Zombie Strike, it was being played on 700 campuses.
I did not know.
And
That's
Nerf
crazy.
refused to acknowledge that it even existed. And when they finally did, the only thing they did was come out with the Zombie Strike line, 90% of which are not good for HVZ. Like the best one they came out with was the Hammer Shot. That's an amazing HVZ blaster. Pretty much everything else in the Zombie Strike line, garbage for HVZ. Like, what are you doing?
It's almost insane how Nerf is so good at ignoring the people that love their products the most. How? Like
it's
they have like
wild.
systematically ignored their biggest fans for decades. And I know this because I've done big history. I've been doing a huge history project on the history of Nerf modding in collaboration with the Discord. Really cool people in there. But like they to this day, right to N1, like they just don't care about the people. They have never cared what people wanted out of blasters. It has always just been like market domination and market share. And I guess I get it, I guess, but like you said, I didn't even know it was that big, but like even now to this day when it's slower, they still have an insane opportunity to get in there. All Nerf has to do is make a few HVZ specific blasters, say we endorse this, here's your 120 FPS HVZ monster, like HVZ machine. The community would love them overnight. It's just insane that they don't do anything to cater. And I don't want to say, I understand that we are a small segment of the market, but like the fact that the Nerf Pro even exists shows that we have enough of a saying power with our money to be able to be
right, and the
something
thing
to them.
is if they focused on us more, we would convert more of their current market share to be like us, which means having 100 Nerf blasters instead of 2.
And if they advertised battles and, you know, put some money, imagine like a Nerf sponsored arena still to this day. It's just like, I don't know. It's very unfortunately clear that Nerf as a company doesn't actually care, which is why the ball has been passed to so many other companies at this point. Everybody else is
nice
taking
that
over.
They have, because for the longest time, the slogan "Nerf or Nothing" was just true. There wasn't another competitor. Like you don't see even remotely half good Nerf competitors until Busby in the early 2000s, and most of those were pretty trash. But now we've got Worker, we've got X-Shot, we've got Dart Zone, we've got, you know, Busby's coming back with more stuff. Adventure for it's, and then of course the entire 3D printed
X-Shot's killing it right now. X-Shot's literally taking over the market. It's crazy.
Yeah, because
doing.
they're good quality yet cheap.
Yes,
they're stupid cheap. Dart Zone is a much better quality project as far as, you know,
to say the least. Yeah,
but X-Shot is like, how are you getting those numbers out of a blaster that's $15? The hardware should cost more than that.
The Fury X.
But to go back to a previous thing that we talked about, one thing that I really wish, from having built blasters and seen blasters, I wish there were more standards in our hobby. Because every single designer is using a different screw. Every designer is using a different bolt. They're using different sized plunger tubes. They're using different springs. And there's a lot of things where, as you said, a lot of these people aren't engineers, and it shows in painful ways. Like, why are you screwing a metal screw into PLA? It can't hold.
But then the trial and error over time, but we see the trial and error too. People have gotten a lot better, I would say.
They
too.
have.
And
every once in a while, you get someone who is an engineer, and
there's
you
a few
see
of them,
the difference in quality. You see FDL, you see Pewtech, you see people who actually have true understandings of shear forces and, how things need to be engineered and how math works, and seeing the difference in something that is engineered to something that
Not
isn't.
I want to clarify. Not me.
But
Yeah.
because those things have become prevalent, people have learned from them, and it's cool to see that people are taking the lessons from the really good designers, and everything has gotten better. The stuff,
Absolutely.
the 3D printed stuff from 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, 6-7 years ago, was such hot garbage.
We are magnitudes better, like literally
It's
multiple
baffling.
magnitudes. We have come so far. I truly believe that we are kind of currently in a golden age of this hobby. And kind of like something you were saying before, like I use the word foam flinging a lot in the demonstration, and I explain it pretty early on. It's like saying Nerf just is not accurate anymore.
No.
They not only do not share the market, they don't hold the market share, but if you go to any actual game, you're not going to see a majority Nerf blasters anymore. And if you do see majority Nerf blasters, they're heavily modified. If you're going to anything that's not like a stock battle, it's just the way that it is. It's not, it's foam flinging. I can't think of another term to really capture it.
Well, the downs, Nerf just has the brand recognition. It's like Lego, it's like Kleenex, it's like,
genericized.
Frisbee.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the generic term. And there's upsides and downsides. If you say we're having a Nerf battle, people know what you mean. If you say we're having a foam flinging battle, people are gonna go, what?
Yeah.
And
we'll get there. We'll educate them.
Get there.
We'll convert the masses. Gentlemen, before we got 10 minutes left, but one thing I want to ask about before we run out of time. This has been great. I love this stuff. Evan, tell us about the minigun. I got the chain blaster. We got to talk about that.
I was just about to go through some of the pictures. We can do that at the end. Okay, so here, I'll reply to it to my own comment in the thing so you guys can pull it up. This is the most recent video. I just did this today. So the amount of work that has gone into this has been staggering, and let me just close my door really fast. So the amount of work that a brushless blaster takes to develop, I could not do. Another huge shout out to a designer named Virus, which once this gets complete, Virus will get the largest shout outs because it would not be possible without his help. So he's been helping me write all the code and stuff. Here's my current rate of fire. I think that's just around like 12 rounds a second. Oh yeah, there's Big Greg going through some chips. You could just play through and I'll explain. Here's my minigun, just absolutely wrecking. I have a 20 dart a second, 180 FPS rage fire mod. I have a whole mod guide out too. Here it is. I love this thing. It's the minigun I always wanted. I always wanted a Nerf minigun, and this achieves the goal. It does it.
Yes, it does.
So yeah.
Look at that. That is nuts, man.
Yeah, it should be capable of around 140 FPS if we're lucky, if everything's good. And then
is it a flywheel cage or is it an AEB?
It's a flywheel. Flywheel cage. I'm not making an MXL AEB.
I was gonna say, there's no way.
No.
But you know what? You made the Big Greg. So really, right now, I'm not counting anything out, which is why I had to ask. So then,
I appreciate that.
what kind of wheels and motors for the Mega XL?
Did I send a picture? I'm not sure. Here,
Are they in standard hobby or is it something else you sourced?
No, they are far from standard hobby. I just don't think I have a
say.
Let me see.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to my friend.
Oh yeah, we gotta. Yeah, this is good footage. This is where Andrew darts who gets shot by the Big Greg.
Yeah, we're still in prototype mode right now, which is why. But
that's okay.
Here's the wheels. Not tiny. Ooh. So yeah, the way that this works is very simple. It's basically just an X shot. So notice all the tape. My design philosophy is I make something's wrong with it. I will either chisel it away until it's not there or tape it until it's there. And then literally, like, tape is great because it's a consistent measure. I literally measure the tape, like quite literally just measure and then add that in CAD, and it works. I really, it's been a good, something that's worked for me for a while. So this right now is doing 12 darts a second, which is ridiculous. So there's just a wheel on the top that spins this way, a sprocket that moves this way, and two flywheels. Is stupidity prevails sometimes.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it's just like the Rage, or not the Twin V. Is that the one that has the?
Yep. The Twin V, and then the Rage Fire as of new. So yes, precisely. But
while you're designing it, if you can figure out a vehicle mount for that or some kind of clamp that
there
you
will
can
be.
clamp it. Okay, sweet. To any kind of roll bar or pipe or a walker or
I also have a Nerf tank. I understand if I'm going to be making an anti-tank Nerf blaster, I have to make a tank. You
You're
know,
gonna have to step up my designs for a howitzer now.
a war profiteering both sides. No, sorry. I understand what it takes. But so I have a big tank that has a mount for this and for the rage fire in the front. And it's basically a big wagon, like a garden cart with just cardboard on the side and holes that you can shoot through. So you have to pull it is the objective, but you have to go slow. It's kind of like a VIP mode where you have 6 people protecting the tank. It's been a plan I've been working on. It's for this summer.
I've got to get my golf car fixed and properly maxed.
Yeah, golf cart mount.
So last thing I'll bring up, because I know we're tight on time, is just the last bunch of images that I brought up are a bunch of examples of other people's Gregs, and I just want to show those off because they're so cool. Like watching other people's builds, like I said, it's truly a surreal feeling for me, and I appreciate everybody's support to the bottom of my heart. And it's so cool to watch people like enjoy the thing that I made. I lose the ability to speak just even thinking about it. It makes me so happy. So the last group of pictures is a bunch of other examples of other people's mammoths and Gregs. So I'm very happy with that. But yeah, this has been a good talk. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope I've been able to answer all the Greg related questions and share some of the nonsense I'm up to.
Dude, this is awesome. And I can tell you right away, I already know the answer. And it'll probably happen soon, but you're probably gonna end up on Foam Zone with Andrew as well to talk further. But this is great stuff, and it's fantastic just because one, the excitement, two, don't be afraid to dream, don't be afraid to just do what you want to do, man. And so the stuff you make has just been amazing. So you are going to be at Maryland Mayhem, and you're going to have a table. And I tell you, Maryland Mayhem, with Moose, there you go. We were talking about it because last time it's an indoor soccer park, two fields. And it was kind of like, where can you fire that thing to show it? And so my goal this year, because of the ceiling and the rafters, I'm going to figure out how to hang like a target, like a dart catcher, or like on the other side of the field from somewhere in the ceiling, so we can happily shoot at it way above everyone else.
Oh, wow.
And not try shooting through people's heads to hit a target at like 50 yards. We'll figure something out.
We're going to have to figure that out. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like it's a very difficult blaster to show off indoors because there's not many places indoors that, like I said, you can get 330-foot shots.
True power of the thing, because
if you do like I think a 45-degree angle, like how high would I be aiming? Like 45 degrees, you could probably get like over 300. I've gotten the farthest shot I've ever got was like 302, but Moose said he's gotten like 320, 330 feet. So they soar.
I want to go to a football field where it will not only give me enough room, it will measure it for me.
Yes.
Because they have the numbers on the grass.
That's also the only metric my American brain knows. Give it to me in football fields or I'm not going to understand.
Yeah. How many eagle claws is this long?
Yes.
How many hamburgers stacked end to end?
Yes. Syrups per moose. Syrups per moose. Not in this country.
That is awesome.
But yeah.
That is fantastic.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'll probably leave before you get the whole thing out. So thank you.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to step out yet anyways. We got another 2 minutes. But
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're good. Don't worry. and after we kill the stream, hang on for about a minute anyways. Did I say that out loud? Those listening at home, don't listen to this. But anyways, so then, as he said, there's a list of things that he's going to be coming out. So pay attention to that. That'd be fantastic. If you're going to be at Maryland Mayhem, you will find Evan there. You will see him there and all the great, big, crazy things that he makes. Reach out to him, as he said in the Discord. Go ahead and find him. He'll be in the WFA Discord or otherwise, and that's how you find him. Other than that, as always, next week we do have another episode of the Foam Zone. On the Foam Zone, I'm sure Andrew has someone. I just have no idea who it is. But tune in next Wednesday for Andrew, a.k.a. Dart Sweep. He'll have something cool, and then we'll be on again in another, after that, the Wednesday after, in 2 weeks. I don't think we have a guest yet, but we'll probably come up with somebody cool. Other than that...
Greg will actually show up this time, the mook.
You mean Eric?
Al, Eric, Moose,
somebody. The Moose.
He tried.
That's okay.
That one guy.
we've talked to Eric a lot. This is a good chance that we get to know Evan now. But anyways, ladies
I
and
think you were
gentlemen,
much
thanks
more
again for
interesting guest than
watching.
he would have been. Not
Ah.
even sad he couldn't make it.
He's going to send you a bigger bill next time for a blaster. Careful.
You're gonna cut me off. No
There
more
it is.
stupid big blasters for you. Oh.
Oh, I repent. I will pay. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and share. And again, worldfoamalliance.com will be launching Maryland Mayhem. We're very excited about that, man, and we're going to get this thing going and
There will
cooking.
be
And the conversation we had today.
streams. There will be Al, the Geek, and I doing our Statler and Waldorf impersonations. It'll be great.
We are doing the Muppets, man. We are doing Waldorf and Statler. We will be in the stands. We're going to have a little booth thing, and we will be heckling.
There will be nothing but heckles. It's going to be so much fun.
And we're going to have eye protection because I know people will shoot at us.
We're
But,
going to get shot at.
oh, but you know what? Be careful who you're shooting at. Because remember,
We got Moxon, baby.
remember
may
who
shoot
you're
back.
shooting at. Remember who you're shooting at. And remember who's got miniguns, too. So you all been warned, man.
We do have miniguns galore. Matching mooses, matching mammoths, matching miniguns.
Next thing you know, someone's going to send us matching underwear. It's like, yeah, that's where I draw the line. Anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, or sorry, the tactical bikinis. That's what they want to see is matching
There we
tactical
go.
bikinis. That'd be
The
speaking of
straps
war
are
crimes.
adjustable enough.
That'd be a war crime. Anyways, again, thanks
The
everyone for
children
watching.
do not
and
need to
tuning
be
in.
exposed to that level of filth.
Of horror. Anyways, thanks all for tuning in. Like and share, man, and don't forget, get off my lawn.
Yes, get off. Get off it.